He's one of the hottest wrestlers on the planet. He'll be defending his title against Ricochet at the Danbury PL building. He's a six-time WWE Tag Team Champion and a former WWE Intercontinental Champ. He's Cody Rhodes, and he's joining us this morning. Thanks for being on the show with us, Cody.
No, thank you guys for having me very much.
It's exciting. Friday night, Danbury PAL building. It all goes down with Ricochet, and word on the street right now, Cody, is he's going to kick your butt.
Word on the which street? What street are you on, man? I feel like you're on the wrong street, man.
That's right.
Ricochet's amazing, man. He's kind of like an internet GIF machine, if that makes any sense, because he does an absurd amount of high flying and just kind of like gravity-defying nonsense. But this is the second time we've crossed paths, and the first time he wasn't so lucky. So you're on the wrong street, man. No,
yeah,
no, for sure.
Well, listen, you come from a great background of what a family of wrestlers.
Legendary.
I mean, your dad, the late Dusty Rhodes. I mean, I remember watching him all the time. I was a big fan, and he was incredible.
It's been really nice, kind of recent years, that people have started to see his contributions to the industry outside of just the wrestling, portion of it. He's responsible for so much of like modern day what we do. Him and Vince helped, create pay-per-view, and he's one of those we like to say he's on wrestling's Mount Rushmore, and everyone is very proud of him and miss him very much. One of the cool things about going around on my own schedule, like I've been able to do as of late, is you kind of find him in various places, like Danbury, for example. In these smaller, more intimate settings, there's a connection with him because there was a connection with the audience, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, he was kind of the bridge that brought wrestling from where it was, those Bruno Sammartino days, to the days of, the more modern, the Hulkamania and all that stuff. He was kind of the bridge. He was the guy who really did it all.
Yeah, no, if you look back at his matches with Superstar Billy Graham in Madison Square Garden, and literally everything you just said, you can see it. He's this kind of style added to the substance, to your point, and very apropos, he's the bridge, the way to put it.
You're from Marietta, Georgia, so you must love country music.
I grew up on country music.
Sweet.
I love country music, but if I didn't love it, I still would know every song, especially 90s country, because I grew up. That's what it was in the truck on the way to school every day.
You got any favorite artists these days?
I have a fondness for Florida Georgia Line.
Oh, we love them.
Yeah, and they came and played a few shows when I was still at WWE, and I kind of thought like, they're more this kind of pop country. I don't think I'll like it. And they played, and I was like, oh man, I love them.
We're talking this morning with Cody Rhodes. He's going to be coming to the pinnacle of professional wrestling Friday night.
Danbury, Connecticut.
The Danbury PAL building.
We're just kidding.
And he's going to be taking on Ricochet. You can also check out Ryback and Jack Swagger. And what's it like? I know the King is going to be there appearing. I don't think he's wrestling anymore, but the King, Jerry Lawler's supposed to be there with you.
The King occasionally does still wrestle. And
wow.
Yeah, and one of the things I love about the King is he's made several references, because I recently won the Ring of Honor World title, and I bring it along with me, as well as the NEW title. Fans like to see it. It's cool, and I travel with it because I don't work exclusively for Ring of Honor. And he's made several veiled references at wanting to wrestle for it, and I think it's actually going to happen, which blows my mind. My dad wrestled the King in the late 70s.
Kind of like wrestling your grandfather. I mean, basically.
Oh, man.
Don't tell him that.
No, I wouldn't know.
Yeah, he'll kick your butt.
Yeah, the talk on the street will be that he's going to kill me. Yeah, no, I love that Danbury building. It's intimate. It's fun. Great fans. It's a good spot.
Is there one particular wrestler that you really just don't like at all?
I will say, and this is going to sound like it's a joke, and it kind of is, but not really. If you're at this Danbury show, you'll see I avoid a certain NEW wrestler like the plague, and that is a guy named the Wrecking Ball. Oh my gosh!
What's the beef?
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna throw him under the bus here, but the beef is he just smells like beef. If that makes any sense. He reeks.
He forgot his deodorant.
I mean, and these loops, like some of these loops, I've been on 10-day loops. I've been on 11-day tour. I mean, I've been on the road since I was 20 years old, essentially. I don't think my gear has ever smelled like it'll knock you out when you walk in the room. Yeah, so.
Well, how about one wrestler that you had to hate, but you really liked them?
Gosh, I feel like that's almost every wrestler. Had to hate, but really liked. There's a cruiserweight. He's more than a cruiserweight, but he's so talented in WWE by the name of Neville. who I had a mini occasion, especially when at the end of my WWE run was doing Stardust.
I've actually met him and interviewed him in another market.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a sweet,
nice guy,
sweet Newcastle boy. Man, and I was his villain for a period of time, and it was cool because he helped me, and I helped him. But it was one of the ones that was always tough.
Yeah.
So you did a little Stardust thing there for a while. Was that tough to do because you were this kind of, you were the self-proclaimed best-looking wrestler, ever. And now you got to put all this makeup and stuff, and you got to be kind of a little more, I don't want to say feminine, but a little more dainty character.
It was a challenge because I think, and I told Samir this the other day at a seminar, sometimes the best way to find how to do this gig is kind of step outside of your own skin. And we have so many wrestlers that are too cool for school. Good-looking guys who, just got the walk about them, and they're almost like vanilla in that respect because wrestling is this big production. And Stardust, as much as I didn't enjoy putting on contacts and hours worth of makeup, having crystals glued to my forehead and all that stuff, as much as I didn't enjoy it, I definitely enjoyed the idea of being able to be somebody else, like it was a mask. And I took that. That was one of the things I wanted to do when I left it, is keep some of it, but just without the makeup.
So what's it like being in a video game? That's got to be pretty cool.
As cool as you think you may be, I've never been too cool to I always get the game, and I can never avoid this. I always get the game and give you the free copy, or even hell, I'd go buy it because I couldn't wait. And the first thing you do is you play as yourself. It's crazy to think it'll live like this forever, just like with an action figure or anything like that. To think you've done a good enough job that you're gonna kind of be immortalized in that fashion. And the way they motion capture the moves today, and I've done the shoots with I think 400 and something cameras in the one room, and they do everything they can to make it realistic. 2K Sports does a great job. I love that game.
Well, we're glad to have you around, glad to have you in town. And before we wrap up, I mean, the one thing that I always loved about wrestling, watching it, was the hype job that they give, when you're doing an interview like this. Now, you got to face Ricochet on Friday. Anything here to hype this thing up a little bit here?
Man, you're talking to the most, low-key wrestler of all time.
I know. I feel like I could almost kick your butt.
Yeah, I feel like the hype, man.
Wishful thinking, Mr. Morning.
You know what we needed? We needed Jimmy Hart.
Yeah.
We needed that megaphone.
The mouth of the South.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. Ricochet he's the, future of flight. That's kind of what we've dubbed the event. And he's an absolute just aerial assassin, but you can't fly when I take away your legs. So
there you go.
I'm very much looking forward to it.
Ricochet, if you're out there, you don't mess with my boy, Cody Rhodes. He's going to take you down. He's going to dump you in the Danbury dump. That's what's going to happen, Ricochet.
Is there a Danbury dump?
Yeah, there is.
Oh, well, man, good finish. Good finish. Now I know.
Hey, Cody, thanks so much for spending time with us, being on the show.
And good luck tomorrow night in Danbury, wrestling, Danbury PAL building.
Thank you, sir, very much. You guys have a great day.